Welcome to Mediocre Gaming, and today we're playing Metal Gear Survive Beta Edition. So the weekend's over, and so is the beta for the Metal Gear Survive. This game is set in the Metal Gear universe with a survival twist. You have a wormhole digger that you have to protect. You start off away from the site. You have to make your way to where you're going to place the digger. There'll be some enemies along the way and some resources that you can gather. There's some crafting involved. Your equipment wears down as you use it, both your armor and your weapons. Ammunition does not regenerate and it does not drop. You have to craft it, although there are side missions that you can do optionally that will give you extra ammo on some maps. So at its core, Metal Gear Survive is a defense game. You have a wormhole digger that gathers resources in a fixed position. You have lines of enemies coming from wormholes around the periphery, and they make their way to the middle to destroy your digger and take you out if you're within their line of sight or range of detection. So there is some stealth aspect to it. When you get into the waves, there's usually too many enemies coming from too many different directions in order to get them all by stealth. You do have an opportunity to do that, but with the time frame that you're given, it would be very difficult to do everything stealth. There are traps available. There are also walls of different types and barricades, as well as gun emplacements that you can then use yourself. There are recipes that you can get as you play that will give you different types of walls and also things like towers. Now, as you play and you as you kill enemies, they drop Kuben, and there are also ways to gather Kuben from plants, I guess. Now, these can be used at the digger to increase the speed at which it gathers resources. It can also be used to call in reinforcements, since each time you get a pickup of Kuben either from an enemy killed or from picking up from a plant that you've destroyed, it is 500. It's 5,000 to speed it up, and the cheapest reinforcement is 25,000, so that is 50 enemies that you have to kill in order to get the lowest level reinforcement. So on a mission where you have 3 waves like the beta, it didn't make a lot of sense to have reinforcements in the actual game. I imagine that you'll have longer missions where it's 5 or 10 waves where it would make more sense to have reinforcements come in. Now, in between the waves, there are side missions that show up where you can get a walker or you can get ammo or whatever the case is, and it's optional. You don't have to do it, but if you are able to do it, it normally will be beneficial to you either in the rewards that you get at the end, or it'll help you survive the wave that's coming up. There is a matchmaking tool. You can play solo. The missions do not scale to the number of players. It is what it is. So if you play by yourself, it appears to be with the same number of enemies, with the same amount of hit points as if you play with 4 players. So it makes more sense to have a full group of people rather than going in by yourself. That's something I think the developer should consider as an option, that if you choose to go in by yourself, that it will scale at least somewhat to the number of players. Every mission, there's 3 ways to complete it. Either you survive all the waves, you have a majority of the people playing ask to withdraw, or you're defeated. Either the digger is destroyed or all the players are down. Now, if you're defeated, you only get a portion of the energy that you collected. If you withdraw, you get the full amount of energy, but you missed out on what you could have gotten if you had finished all the waves. And if you complete the whole thing, you get the full amount, plus you get random drops at the end, which give resources or recipes or weapons. In between missions, you can use that time to improve your skills. There was a limited skill tree that would increase your movement speed, your readiness speed, your attack, close quarter combat attack strength, your endurance, and there was a skill that increased your life. And then there were different skills that increased like your pickup speed. You could trip your enemies, you could parry an attack and then send them off in a direction. You could gain a heavy attack, or your weapon, either your piercing weapon or your slashing weapon or two-handed weapon or heavy weapon. There appears to be 4 melee classes. And then you have all your guns and long-range weapons. So there's bows, automatic weapons, handguns, shotguns. Probably more variety of weapons in the final game, the beta. There were a limited number of weapons available. Overall, I thought it was a fun game. The multiplayer was the only part that was available in the beta. It was enjoyable. I can see matchmaking being a very useful tool for people that don't have friends that also have the game or have a pre-made group. Anyway, how do you feel about Metal Gear Survive, the beta that you played, if you played it over the weekend? What did you think of it? Leave your comments below. If you enjoy the Metal Gear universe, go ahead and add that down in the comments below why you like it. And thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and we'll see you next time.